Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Chess show on Pod TV. My name is Sasha Star, and we have a very interesting panel today, starting with Grand Maester Elshan Marabidiadi. Thank you. Welcome to the studio, and we have FIDE Master Jim Eid from Eid Foundation. Welcome, Jim, to the show.
Hi, Sasha. Thanks for having me again.
Always great. And we have Nick Pliveda, founder of this network and 3 times Florida chess champion.
Whoa.
And a national master. On top
That's
of it.
pretty
National
good.
master, of course. And,
I could beat everybody in Florida. I don't know if I get a prize.
how, Elshan, if you will start with the game of the week. So let's enjoy, everybody.
Yes, so this game is being played between Lei Kwang Lim and Arjun Erigaisi. Arjun Erigaisi is one of those players that made a leap forward quite substantially from a high 2,500 to 2,700, even 2,730 right after COVID. So he was one of those players that worked really, really hard, and when he's on a winning streak, he can win back to back. He can really. He won outright the strong Abu Dhabi Open, which was plus 2,500 tournament. Nowadays they have a category plus 2,500. Just imagine that, Jim. Plus 2,500 tournament, and Arjun also, but in elite events, he's been very unsuccessful recently, unfortunately, and he dropped 30 points, and even he dropped below 2,700. And he struggled at YCON-Z, where he finished last. And in this tournament also, he seems to be out of luck, and the results are not going his way. He drew the first 2 games, but lost round 3 to Amin Bassam of Egypt in a game that, if you show, it looks like a game I saw from Bobby Fischer against Arthur Bisker, if I pronounce his name correctly.
Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah.
Yep, Bisker, and I don't understand why, but these guys. But anyways, Arjun Erigaisi represents modern chess, 100%. He's a representative of modern chess, not the way I learned chess. He's like the kind of imbalances and dynamics he enters are. I would always take it with a grain of salt. Well, with a bucket of salt, not even grain. So and he, but he, yeah. It's been working for him. So he's a man who likes to ride on a rope, and he's been doing it. And Lei Kwang Lim, I've played against Lei Kwang Lim back in 2006 at the Olympiad. Once he was a young player. He works as the head coach runs the program actually at Webster University.
Yep.
And
I know who you're.
Yeah, he took over Sousa Polgar's position.
Right.
Yes, he is Vietnamese, number 1, and he's 2730. And after this win, I think he's 2735. Puts him in I think top 20 in the world after this win. Let me just quickly check.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, not being a full-time player and being this high. Yes, after this win, he's 2736. He's number 18 in the world. He overtook Sasha Grishuk. So that's already speaks volume of his ability. He won the World Blitz Championship. I forgot which year. I think it was 2012 or 13 or some of those years. And a very formidable player. So it's in my opinion, it's kind of a clash between classical chess. He plays correct chess at Lei Kwang. I mean, that's what I call correct chess, classical chess with right foundation. He uses engine. He uses it extensively. But he never enters positions without what I call classical foundation of the way we play chess. Like every position has proper evaluation, in my opinion. So, if you want to head away, make a few moves.
And he's going to play d4.
Okay.
Okay, we have knight c3, knight bd7, a couple more moves. And Arjun already. So, just one thing I want to tell you: he employed the same setup against Boris Gelfand a few months ago back again when they played in Sweden, and it was a Catalan, but he likes to play this move, then take on c4 and try to stick to the pawn. So you can see already Arjun's trying some imbalances by just I want to win your pawn. Okay, okay, and look at that cd5 immediately. He just says no. I want some classical position. I don't want to any. Right. Yeah.
This does look classical chess to me. This is
Yes.
Yeah.
But let's just make a couple of moves.
But now it's a little bit.
A3, he voluntarily gives up his bishop. Yeah, my coach would have. I had a Azeri Soviet coach. He would have hit me. He would have hit me. I don't know. He would have kicked me in the butt if I would have done this.
Yeah.
I mean,
He would have had a fit.
What's that?
He would have had a fit. If
You already gave up the 2 bishops advantage. Why would you do
Yeah,
that?
I mean, you want to run the engine on the side, but you just look at the other side. You run the engine. It's right there. If you go to the right, up there, there is a bar. You can click on the. You can swipe to the right. You see that bar to the right up there, under the sign in, to the right, to the very right over there, right below it. Yes, there. That. Click on there. Yes. But you see, if you could please click on that plus bar too. There's a blue plus to the left. Yes. So yeah. So this, you see, it doesn't give anything. To me, it's incorrect. But the engine is just even happy with black. You see that?
Right.
Okay, it's not a very accurate engine, but still. And when I was checking on the good engine on my computer, I just realized that it's all perfectly fine. The point is that the timing is good, and he's doing fine. So I want to hear your opinion on this one. I don't want to be just the person who's talking here. Sorry, I don't mean to take over.
When you say white is slightly better because they have the 2 bishops, Ilshan?
It felt
I
wouldn't
give it up that lightly. Go on.
It felt that way to me.
Yeah.
Don't you think so? It felt that way, but no, the engine is not impressed at all with this play. I mean, it gives a microscopic, even I would say, just a symbolic advantage to white after this. But bishop b4.
Well,
I think
we can look at it as a classical, like point of view. The 2 bishops will be superior in any ending, but d5, you really got no advantage in the center. And is the center going to remain fairly closed with pawns on d4 and d5? In which case, the knights are just as good as the bishops. Or how are you going to open the center so that the bishops flourish?
The program is recommending c5, which means that black is going to open it up for white. So you don't have to do much.
Not necessarily.
c5 is.
C5 is the right move, but you see the response.
I mean, you have to like white here. I mean, I would like white.
Well,
okay, he played bishop g5, which is also he played e3.
G5.
Sorry, he didn't play that. He played e3, which makes sense as well.
Right.
And it's very funny. After castle bishop e2, just a couple more moves.
Right.
In here, queen c7 was played. A4. I don't know if I like queen c7 as well. I mean, I think. And then a4, and white played a4 and c4. I mean, this is like I don't understand, but actually this engine is not that good. But on my computer, I'm checking with the good engine. C4 is fine by the engine because it is playing against that bishop, not covering e4 square, and we have some sort of what I call typical Rogozin. If Sasha can say if I pronounce it correctly.
Rogozin. That's the way I would say it. Yes.
So
again, we're looking at a fairly close center. If white can get e4 in, fine, but can white get in e4?
Eventually.
E4, white is not better. White's winning because everything is you just throw it out. The bishop comes to g5. Everything.
Yeah. I agree.
So
I agree. If you get e4 in,
black's taking substantial. I don't know. Huge strategic risk because the moment white's plan works, black collapses. And that's what happened in this game. So
right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So let's keep going. They played c4.
You're going for e4 right away.
Yeah, I don't know if I like this move b6, and I think that's what I mean by this practical strain on black's play, and that's what I don't like. I like Arjun guys' positions to teach them, but I don't like to play them because the burden of proof is all on black.
Yes.
So the move b6, you see, now Arjun guys played engine moves. Now he's back to think like a classical player because we are all trained the same way. We all think in terms of the concepts. He wants to complete his development, put his bishop on b7, control the e4 square.
Right.
But But that's not what the engine likes. Instead, he had to play rook e8, knight f8, and something else. The engine suggests like that. So, okay,
instead of b6, you're saying
rook e8.
Yeah, that's the move that occurs to me right off the bat.
Yeah, rook e8 is more
rook e8 castle. You can put the moves on the board, actually. Rook e8 castle, if you want to do that. Rook e8 castle.
Right.
Knight f8, yes. Opening up the bishop. And after rook e1, which white wants to prepare the idea of playing e4.
Right.
Now, my plan is that you can actually, if you want, you can right-click on the pieces, and it will show you. You can drop, if you right-click and on the bishop on e2, and you can drop it to f1, then it shows you. You see, if you can put all those arrows like that. So you want to do that, f3 and e4, right? And that looks really like a Capablanca, Botvinnik Capablanca Avro, 1938. That the famous game, which if you have time, I'll be happy to show at the end of the discussion of this game.
It certainly is a well-known theoretical advance, and I think most players would play for that way. Indeed. Bishop to f1, f3, e4.
Yeah, and in this position, the engine dismisses all of those ideas and says after h5, black is slightly better. I mean h5.
H5. Okay.
H5.
Yeah. And the idea is that after knight f1, he goes knight g6 and just plays on light squares like if nothing, and the whole thing doesn't work. Now bishop f1, I think we're already losing. Actually, no. Bishop f1, I think not losing. We're already worse. After h4, actually, h4, h3, and then
That's
h4
right.
now, because you want to play h3. No, sorry, knight g6, bishop f1.
Okay. Bishop
Bishop f1, h4 now. Here h4. No, sorry, not h4. My bad.
Here h4.
Sorry, if you go one move back instead of knight g6, black just play knight g6. I'm sorry. h4. Yes,
okay.
And you want h3 if you want to weaken all those dark light squares there with the move h3. So white has to go h3 himself, and then black goes knight 8 h7 and plays it like a King's Indian attack.
Yeah.
And once
without the bishop.
Yes, g6, bishop f5, knight g5, and he doesn't need the bishop because you are attacking on the light squares and not on the dark squares.
I see what you're saying.
And claims advantage. And this is just so. This is post Leela time. We're seeing this is the different kind of chess. You know, my old engines, my early Stockfish, my whatever I had back in between 2015 and 2019, and it's not a long time ago, wouldn't go this way.
Right.
And
now, but as a player, not taking the engines into account, who would you prefer to be here, black or white?
Now I prefer to be black, but I couldn't envision this 4 moves ago.
Okay.
So my point is that Arjun picks up very interesting positions, but coming up with all these creative, deep ideas, which are so move by move dependent, are not that easy. They're not easy decisions, and the burden of proof is entirely on him, because once it doesn't work, like it didn't work for him in this game, he was just busted out of the opening.
Yeah, but we're going back to b6 again. If you play rook e8 and followed by knight f8 and then h5, there's a way to play it as though he was attacking the king in a King's Indian. It seems like it's a reasonable way to play. And would you say that b6 is a fatal mistake? Are we going to say
it's a positional mistake? Surely.
Okay.
I wouldn't say fatal because black just made one somewhat passive move. And I believe in Lasker's measures, he said one mistake is not enough to lose a game.
Yes, I remember that.
He said 2 inaccuracies are not enough to lose a game. So I kind of believe that he was right. So it's an inaccuracy. So we wouldn't say black is really, but it's a step in the wrong direction, surely.
Yes. Okay. All right. So
now after the move b6, engine suggests some g4, but he plays classical. I mean, just
right.
You don't need to look at that move. But he plays reasonable move. Castles, he's preparing the e4 idea. White has a clear plan.
Right.
I think you can be 1900, and if you had seen the game Botvinnik Capablanca, you know you should go f3, knight f1, prepare e4. So the moves that that one is playing right now doesn't require a 2700 knowledge.
Exactly.
1800 and make all these moves.
That's correct. I agree with that.
Castle.
These moves are pretty standard and not hard to find.
I mean, any student of mine 1800 plus has seen this game, and they know the idea that you have to play in the center. Yeah, I mean, I show my game that is similar to Capablanca's game. Sorry, but Phoenix Plan, and I show that how it worked. And there's a game of Kasparov, Tolgard, Tilburg, 1996, which follows the same plan. And that's all the 3 games they learned the idea. So it's not what's White doing it here is not awe striking.
Right. But it is instructive to say just follow your plan, and if Black is not very aggressive in countering it, your plan is going to work.
And that's what happened in this game. Let's go 4 more moves in. Rook E8, Rook E1, Bishop E7, Knight F1. We played A6, F3.
Okay, now that A6 is consistent with the idea of B6, but if you ever play A5, you play B5, and you're fine, pawn structure wise. But it's doing nothing to prevent the E4 advance.
Exactly, and the key problem is that you've considered pair of bishop, you've considered the center because White has more pawns in the center.
Right.
So once White plays E4, you're really done. And even if Black's plan is okay, he's holding by a thread. So it again makes no. That's the thing. You may see things 20 moves deep with an engine, but you're so dependent on every single decision you're making.
Yeah.
So he plays B5, A3, and I want to give this move an exclamation mark.
Bishop A3.
Yes. Well,
yeah, because,
but I think it's a good move.
It's really interesting that you say that, because to me it was like, okay, E4 opens up the diagonal, the C1 to H6 diagonal. That's what you've been waiting for, and now you're going to take it off that diagonal and put it on another one. But you like it. You think it's a great move.
Well, first thing, he doesn't include AB, which is important because he has to keep the rooks for the attack on the king side. So you have to maintain material for final attack. The other thing is that I need to reroute my bishop on E2 to C2 so that it can look toward Black's king side.
Correct. Okay, I can see that.
I am gradually getting there. So he's taking his time. He's connecting the rooks, and he's going toward the right direction. I would say Spassky would have made this move in a spell. So
that's very interesting to me, because I would have proceeded, like trying to get E4 in and thinking that's the way to proceed in this position. So I'm learning something very, very interesting. Thank you.
So he's just putting a bishop on a good diagonal, and he's preparing to do that. And when I show you my game after this, if we have time to show you my game that I played against Dizdar back in 2006, you will see unbelievable similarities, which is just all rooted in classical chess. So now Arjun realizes things are not going his way. He goes B takes A4. So you would say, oh, this is anti-positional. But the thing is, his moves are bad, but he's trying to create practical chances now.
I see.
This is an awful move. But
yeah, I would think so. And
it's an awful move. It's an awful move. But the thing is, he's trying to create practical chances. He realizes if he sits, he's dead.
Got it.
So let's go forward. Takes Queen A4, Bishop C6, Queen C2, A5. And here, okay, it's human nature kicks in. I'm sure Li Kuang knows he has substantial advantage here. But timing is of a sense. So he plays Rook B1, first to secure B3, which is a loss of time, according to the engine's evaluation. But he could just go Bishop D1 right away. As you can see, the engine suggests Bishop D1 right away. If you see that.
Right.
Under there, it says Rook Bishop D1. So you see, I'm not a chess genius. I've not checked this game before. Like, I just saw the game and I said, oh wow, this is so similar to my game. I just suggested right now to look at this game. So, but it is part of the classical knowledge. So when people say, why do we still need coaches instead of engines? Here's the reason.
Now say that again. I want to understand that what you're saying. The reason for coaches rather than engines is
Because they show you classical ideas and not what the engine is gauged based on the engine's evaluation.
I think that's an essential point. I wanted you to emphasize it. Because this variations we can be lost in variations without understanding the meaning behind them. And I think the coaching that you're talking about is when you can explain the deeper reasoning behind these variations, and that's what's instructive. That's when players take a jump. They make a jump in playing strength when they know why the variations work and they don't.
Indeed. Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Absolutely. So rook EB1 was played. Knight B6, and you see, rook EB1 is actually a huge mistake because the timing is not working, but doesn't matter because also Arjun cannot take advantage of that. It's only the engine. Knight B6, Queen D2. Okay, he's moving toward the right plan, Queen D2. Because now he wants to go bishop D1, bishop C2. He's preparing the plan.
But, yeah.
So,
I'm just saying,
C8.
Can't he oppose bishops if he goes bishop D1? Let's look into the game a little bit deeper. Okay, now it's not a possibility. I was thinking that if you go to bishop D1, bishop A4 looks possible.
Bishop C5 is a problem because it attacks the knight on C6.
Gotcha.
There are intermezzos, as they like, or in between, as we say in English.
You're right. Absolutely. Okay.
So knight C8, bishop D1 was played.
Now you're getting what you want, everything you want.
Yes. Yeah. Knight G3, rook E6, bishop C2, G6. The engine it's not that impressed, but it's very funny. But to me, this is great. White's marching toward victory, to me.
Okay.
Bishop C5.
Yeah, I'm trying to study why you say that, and I tend to agree, but I'm trying to think of the reasoning because Black has doubled tripled and quadrupled and quintupled on E4. Trying to keep you from playing E4. And if you can't get E4 in, Black can hold.
I do agree. And I'm not saying White is winning. White is not even better, according to the engines. White's not even better here. But the practical strain, again, I want to emphasize on the word strain, is too steep for Black to handle.
And it's easier for White to play.
Yeah.
And it's harder for Black to find moves that are productive.
Exactly. Just play rook E1, rook E2, rook A E1, take on D6 and play E4. That must be equal. But over the board, that's White center is so scary.
Gotcha. Right. Okay.
And when I teach chess and when I just promote chess as a game, I always don't want the players just have high rating, but be independent thinkers.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's why the game of chess is beautiful, and not just because you can maybe punching engine moves on the board.
I totally agree. I totally agree with what you're saying, and it's very interesting that you're translating what is a theoretical concept into practical applications in this game. Because I agree in principle, but now you're showing me exactly what you're talking about.
I'm glad that you like it that way, because when I teach chess, when I teach games to my students, they go check with the engine and just say, you showed me this game of, I'm just giving an example I just did a couple of hours ago, Spassky Holmov game from a tournament. It was the concept of having more space, and Spassky shows how to use this extra space to win the game. And I said, but his tactic at the end was not correct, or like he played it too slow. I said, that's besides the point, because the idea that you have a grip over your opponent in other sports, in business competitions, in anything, you can apply that concept in life. You've learned something that not only in chess, but you can apply in different things in life. Yeah. Whereas if you just learn that this move is correct here,
how do you apply it to anything else? Yes.
How do you apply it to anything else? And I think that's in training chess, my motto is to, I want to teach you how to fish, not to give you a fish.
Yes.
So
to think independently, but you were complimenting Black as an independent thinker, a modern thinker.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. But you're also saying, go ahead.
Yeah, but I do not recommend that for everyone. It's not for everyone.
Right.
It's fun to I'm a fine driver, but I cannot do Formula One. So I do recommend people to buy their own Rolls Royce or whatever fast cars to drive. So I'm just saying, buy a good car, buy a safe car. But if you're good at
get a Volvo.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so we play knight b7, and the bishop retreats. Someone like me, I would think is bishop b6 a good move?
I would think the same way. What's wrong with bishop b6?
Yeah, but
b6 is not a great square for the bishop. Now it's going to be
not a great square. Other than that,
thank you, Nick, for backing me up on
other than that.
Yeah. Okay, bishop a3.
Rook e8.
Yeah. So again, you're piling up on stopping e4. So what are you going to do?
Now he decides to go back. Now Li Quan goes back to the e file.
That's where he belonged, right? Okay, now we're looking at a little King's Indian type of action.
Attack.
It's more of a preventive prophylactic measure because in case of e4, he wants to go h4 and remove one of the defenders of the e4 square. It's more of a prophylactic.
Okay, I see that. And rook e2 looked logical to me. Yeah,
but here again, classical knowledge could have helped a lot. If you put the rook back on e1.
Okay.
I'm so big on classical chess because one day I should just tell the story how I learned chess actually. And here it reminds me of the famous game of Nimzovich against Rubinstein, where he essayed knight h1 with the idea of going to f2, h3. But here you can go knight h1, f2, avoiding h4 and preparing e4. And that's what actually Engine likes here. Here, when the modernity meets classics.
Yeah.
Knight h1 is a very strong move here.
But the Rubinstein Nimzovich game, that was like kind of revolutionary concept.
The queen h1 was very prophylactic.
Knight h1. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm putting the knight on f2 to avoid all attacks with h4.
Exactly.
So anyways,
that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So that's a slight improvement, but right now, the engine thinks that white has a bit of an edge, not a great edge, but a bit of an edge.
Rook e2, okay, a4, and he made a mistake. After a4, he could just go knight h1 here again. Knight h1, knight f2. So here, knight h1, knight f2 with the queen e1 preparing e4, and that's unstoppable. Knight h1, knight f2, queen e1, e4, and that's just this engine is not that strong, but my engine says +1 for white, which is centipound is that pretty much like 1 pound advantage, which is with the best play, probably white has very good winning chances.
Right.
So he plays rook e1, which is a mistake, but again, it's a step in the right direction.
It's a logical mistake.
Yes, it's a logical mistake. And then he goes.
So he wants to go knight h1, f2.
Right.
And here he had to go h4 and then play knight a5. He lost one tempo, played knight a5. Are you guys see?
Ah.
And now after e4 is game over. You see, I told you, when it comes to those practical moments, one move and he's dead now. e4, game over. Now he can just resign after e4.
So this is he needed to drive the knight away to prevent white from playing e4. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay.
So he went knight a5 now e4 and he's dead.
So in this position, h4 drives the knight away, but the knight could come to f2 and support it.
Right.
Yeah, but that extra tempo gives black enough time to play knight b3.
Ah, I see.
I think
extra tempo makes all the difference, which it often does. Okay.
I don't know who said that. Was it Kramnik or was it Tartakova? Chess is a tragedy of one tempo. I think it was.
Yes. Yeah. And in baseball, we say it's a game of inches, and this is the kind of thing where you could play 40 good moves and one bad one ruins it all. And this is true. Like, he's gonna play h4. Why not do it now? No, I'll play knight a5 first. What's the difference? Well,
it makes a difference. It makes a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, the rest of the game, time pressure, and they make mistakes, but eventually he delivers. I think you can just show it because, except for one mistake White made, it's just a complete steamrolling.
So you're talking now, basically game over.
It's game over.
Yeah. Okay. And the engine seems to agree with you. It seems to be you got a big jump in the evaluation of the position.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So knight takes because h4, that's fine.
Exactly.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Bishop takes, f takes now. Yeah, it does look like you got the classic center that you shoot from the beginning of the game. And this has got to be good for white. It's got to be. So now this is a threat, but it's easily ignored.
Means nothing.
White's bringing all his toys to the party.
Yeah. Okay.
And here he blundered, which is a very
That's a mistake. Yeah.
It's a huge blunder because that gives black. This is just a.
Yeah. Why? What was the motivation for that?
Did he play Queen F4?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, because now he gives. He tries to defend the pawn, but actually he just has to go e5, wins the game.
Yeah, why not just play e5? I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, I can't even think of why you would be motivated to play Queen F4 instead of e5.
Well, he sees knight d5. He might think after bishop e4, queen d7. He probably wasn't sure that if that position is completely winning, but it is because the knight on b3 is really bad.
Right, it's out of play.
You go e5, you take the knight on d5 with your bishop, move your rooks to the f file, and play h3 g4, and pretty much can resign.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's very easy for us. Maybe he was
given double question mark.
Yeah. That's black could equalize with knight d5, but Erigaisi missed it. You see, even when you get chances, they are so delicate. They are so specific. That
So
if you don't
true.
catch those moments.
That is so true, and we've all experienced it. You get, and he's given him a chance to get back in the game, and he doesn't take it.
Exactly.
That's where you're going to kick yourself after the game.
So are you telling me he didn't play knight d5?
He did not play knight d5.
It's not an easy move to see.
Why
Because
not?
after queen f3, no, because after queen f3, your knight is again hanging. You have to see a follow up to that, which is not that easy because after knight c7, knight b5, you have to see that plan. So the knight goes from d5 to c7. If you could please draw an arrow, Jim. Knight to d5,
okay.
knight c7, knight b5. You can with a right click. No, knight d5, yes. If you play knight d5, and now you can click right on the queen f3, and now knight c7, and now you want to come to b5, and that's far from obvious. Knight c7,
and then to b5,
and then
when
to b5.
sitting on f6.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean that's okay, but now it's a mess. It's not anymore winning for white.
Right. Yeah, it's counterplay. Does a knight b5?
Anyways, then he won the bishop, and then anyways, he didn't see that, and after that, white's just cruising.
So he plays queen b7 and queen f4. Now knight d5 is the move, but instead he plays king g7, which is an understandable move to make. You're weak on the dark squares. The queen's scary. However, there's no direct threat.
No. And then he just goes for white has the center, the two bishops, plays with the house money pretty much.
Yeah. But going back to what you were saying, it's not an easy find because knight d5, I think anybody could see that there's a pin on the e-pawn. But after queen f3, it's protected and then it's attacked. What are you going to do? Move back? Well,
yeah,
it's hard
knight
to see.
c7
b5. Knight b5 is very effective.
When you play modern chess and it doesn't have classical foundation to your play, your solutions are also unconventional. So everything is there's not even a classical solution. Even your solutions are unconventional.
Wow, because he's going to play queen f3 even though the knight didn't attack it. So
and now d5 e5 is coming. He secured the c3 pawn and the pawns are coming forward.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The rest is pretty much just you can just go through them quite fast. There's nothing you can do.
And he's just shifting the rooks over.
He's offering the rook on e7 and he doesn't even take it.
Oh my goodness! Yes.
Oops.
Yeah. 1-0.
Now what?
That's all she wrote.
Now what?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the game
There's
over.
no what.
1-0. Yeah.
The term I would use for this position is it's appalling. It's you don't really want to even look at the position.
I know.
So what was Black's rating? 1600 or what?
it's the two bishops versus two knights, and you're going like, this is like the training exercise to see why they're better.
So if you look at this and say it was a grandmaster versus a 2000 player, I would believe you. Not maybe 1800, but it's a game between two 2700 players.
Right.
Oh wow, that's pathetic.
Yeah.
Hey Jim, that means us chess dummies have a chance.
Yeah. You got to get a hat like this one though.
Is that 2700 USCF or FIDE?
FIDE.
Yeah. Really?
Oh. Yeah. And White was just telling us he's in the top 20 now after this win.
Wow.
After this win, Lei Kwang is in top 20. He's 3 out of 4 in this tournament, and he's plus 8 elo, so he's a bit higher than Grishuk.
Wow.
But even after the strategic mistake of B6, as you were saying, that wasn't a losing move. That was just a slight inaccuracy, and it took a much weaker move and it was a question of timing. Knight A5 and H4 had to be played, and he picked the wrong move order. And if he had picked the right move order, he's in the game. H4. If he had played H4 instead of Knight A5, it's a game.
I don't think it's he mixed up the move order. I think it's much deeper than that. Okay. I think that he just missed completely the concept of how to hold this position with black, how to counteract to the white's idea to play E4 at a certain moment, and B6, it's not a move to be part of the plan to challenge white's idea of E4.
Well, it gets the bishop on B7, which
it does it does something to prevent E4, but it's not part of overall concept of not just prevent E4, but also to prepare certain kingside attack by black, and bishop on B7 does not contribute anything to that. So I think it's challenge of the right concept, and not so much as a move order. I think that B6, bishop B7, you're wasting 2 tempos. You're not really creating any counter chances as Elkhan showed us. But in any way, it's a very, very good instructive game. And I really like your approach, your commentaries, your explanation of ideas. This is the most important thing, because if not that, you can enjoy yourself watching all the top players now playing Kabbalah chess. And you can see in 10 minutes, you can see a number of games where there are so many incredible blunders, wins on time, and we are talking about the highest possible level, Carlsen.
Well, also, I was really taken with your description of classical play, because there is my view when I wrote Chess for Dummies, I talked about classical play as like pre Zurich 53. And after that there was a Soviet influence created, and even Kasparov said like Fischer was the last classical player. So there's a modern kind of sense that I thought like Kasparov was really the embodiment of that kind of thing. But you're telling me that there's even there's a newer, more modern way of playing chess that I may not have even understood until just now. That you were telling me that the classical principles that White was playing by, which I understood, and the principles that Black is usually playing by, these unconventional things, maybe I just don't understand it yet. I can't pick up on why.
That's probably true, Jim. That's probably true.
I'm still working on it.
It's a if you look at it, he gives up the 2 bishops, and then he puts the bishops better. I mean, if you look at it mathematically on the C8 H3 diagonal, instead he moves it to B6, which is dead, and so now he's down. Just theoretically, he's down points, and then for White's side, it's just a matter of eventually getting E4 in, and they're better.
Not better. You're winning after E4.
You're winning. Yeah, you're winning. And so the thing is, somewhere along the line, and I'm going all the way back, Black had to start thinking about a different plan of where his bishop's going to be posted after he gave up the 2 bishops advantage. I mean, he already gave it up, and then
I think we hit on it.
Very aggressively.
It's the rook e8, knight f8, h4, h5.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And keep his bishop on the c8 diagonal where it's more active than on b6. I mean, b7. It has no life there. That's the reason you play tournament chess. That gives you time to think about stuff like that.
One saying of a well-known grandmaster when he said that you may not admire games of Reuben Fine, but you can learn a great deal from his games.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, especially Fine Fisher. I don't know if you ever saw that.
However, you may admire, like most people in chess world, they admire games of Mikhail Tal.
Yes, I knew you were going to.
But you cannot learn.
You don't learn anything. Yes.
You know why? Because you cannot learn something what the nature didn't gift it you with. If you don't have that, you will never have that. Forget it. So don't even learn his games. Enjoy his games.
Actually, you can learn from his games, not from his games against other masters because they're so messy. But if you look at his games in tournaments he played against Western players, he has many classical games that many good games that he plays. For example, he has a game in my collection. I have 20. He has his game against Ullman, against the Duncan Suddles. I have a collection. So you have to see his games against players 100 points below him. His messy games against other GMs, his level, the top elite players, yes, you cannot learn much about it because it's so messy and filled with errors. But his games against players who are lower than him, because people don't see this part that after he lost his title, Tal, he had this period of, he had the longest streak before, I think, Dingley, Wren, and Magnus, actually. So there was a time that Tal was really, really good.
Hard to beat. Yeah, and scary. Everyone was scared of him too.
Yeah.
Yes,
but Elshan, don't you have to have nerves of steel when you won the U.S. Open Championship last year? Didn't you have to have nerves of steel, especially the last?
I didn't have. I blew it twice. I was winning. I blew it twice. My opponent didn't see. I mean, at one point, you see, it's very funny. Once, because I was at a bad tiebreak. Once the other two guys actually won the game, I began to play calmly because I was still see the possibility that they can still screw up, so I can get it through it with a draw.
Yeah.
So once I saw I have no other choice, then I started playing well.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't hurt to play well and have nerves of steel. And you're good.
Working on that. But thanks for having me, by the way, guys. And
it's our pleasure always to have you. Your contribution is really great, and your explanation is superb.
I agree.
And I hope everybody agrees with me. And in the meantime, I would like you to have a very prosperous week ahead of you, and looking forward to see you next time, same time next week.
Thank you, Sasha.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.